All right, I'm Hayes, and this is Daniel Hawkins. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us today.
Hi, Hayes. How are you? And thanks very much for the chance.
Absolutely. Well, guys, Daniel is the CEO of Avail MedSystems, located in Palo Alto, California. They are a procedural telemedicine solution. And Daniel, you got an incredible background. I was looking you up. You've been an executive, inventor, entrepreneur. You started or participated in over 7 companies, both public and private. Hold 140 patents and raised over $100 million. And so very, very interesting background. And recently you've started Avail. So tell us a little bit about it. If I missed something up in your bio, let me know. But tell us about the solution and where do you get the idea from?
The solution is intended, we started the company to change the paradigm of how surgeries, clinical procedures are supported, both by collaborating physicians and by industry or medical device companies that make the equipment used in a surgery. What we've done is created a new type of telemedicine. It's a console that is positioned in the operating room next to the operating table. It has a couple of cameras on it. It has an integrated screen, and then it has plugins in the back, and those plugins allow the remote person to be able to see intraprocedural imaging. You should be thinking angiography or laparoscopes or ultrasound. Remotely, the proctor, if it's a physician, or the clinical or sales representative, if it's from industry, has an ability to control the cameras and zoom in on what they want to see and switch between cameras and those different imaging technologies to be able to help a surgeon through a case and do it remotely. You asked why we did this. The intent here is to change the paradigm so that new technologies can get introduced more rapidly. Clinical education can happen more rapidly and without the barriers and requirements of physically being in a room. And really, for industry, it enables manufacturers to scale their field operations where they can be much more efficient. As I think you're aware, something like 50 to 60% of an average field person's time is spent in logistics. Going to hospitals, waiting for a procedure, returning from a hospital, go to the next one. If we can cut that in half, then they can help out in more procedures, and that's good for everyone.
Absolutely. And as we discussed earlier, the pandemic obviously has changed access for sales reps, particularly, into the OR. How has that impacted your company so far, and what do you expect it might going forward?
So it's been really interesting, to say the least. We had a forecast at the end of last year for what would be an expected 2020 cadence and installation rate. Prior to COVID, we were working well against that forecast, no issues of any material significance. Since COVID has happened, the interest from hospitals and, more importantly, the interest from medical device companies has caused a 10x increase in the anticipated volume, or I'll say desired volume. The way we work is we actually will contract with medical device companies that want to have an Avail system in some list of hospitals. And they pre-purchase access to the platform. We sell time based on minutes, access to the Avail network. We place the equipment in hospitals without charging the hospitals for the equipment. And we don't charge the manufacturers for the equipment. What we do is kind of like a cell phone model. We're going to give you the phone, but every time you make a call, you're going to pay us for access. If you don't make a call, you don't pay us. If you make a call for 5 minutes, that's not as cost effective as one for 10 minutes, if you will. It's more costly to talk for 10 minutes, I should say. That's how the system works. When a manufacturer says they have interest in us being in 10 or 20 or 30 accounts, we go in with them and pitch the hospital, if you will, and place the equipment into hospitals. So what I described, there's a 10x increase. We have manufacturers in interventional cardiology, structural heart, neuro, spine, hips, knees, in ASCs, in acute care settings that have asked us to place equipment in their customers' facilities so that they can use it. that's where my comment of 10x comes from.
Well, again, you're very timely in rolling this product out for sure. And so, so logistically, that a sales rep could be in multiple hospitals within minutes of each other, viewing multiple surgeries. Basically, that would be how it could work.
Absolutely. And in fact, around the middle of the year, a little bit after summer, I should say, we're going to launch a portal that will allow that to happen from a desktop even. The ultimate notion here is, look, a sales representative, if they're going to spend 50 to 60% of their time, as driving to or waiting for or driving from a procedure, that allows them a limited number they can do in a day. And if they're across town and there's a little extra traffic or there's an accident on the highway, they're going to miss a case. Or they show up in the morning for a case and it got pushed back by 2 hours and it blows their afternoon. We enable sales reps and clinical specialists to access a procedure room for the length of time of the procedure without any logistics. So you can swap from one on one side of a state to another side of a state in minutes. In fact, a couple of taps and a few seconds later, and you're in a procedure room, controlling cameras, talking to the staff, getting ready for the case.
Well, as a former sales rep, I think I'd love that because you could be, in all your accounts, theoretically at one time, if need be, at least staggered. And I think you'd clearly make the physician, the surgical staff, very, very comfortable knowing that you could be there and answer questions. And so, okay, as we kind of last question here as we wrap up, if someone wants to learn more about, how to work with you guys, how do they do that? Where do they find you?
Probably the best thing to do is to go to our website. It's avail.io. Rather than .com, it's .io. And if you go there, you can see the technology, you can see some videos, and there is a contact us type of a form. If you drop a question there, that gets sent to our sales teams, and we will follow up immediately after that. Very happy to chat with industry and physicians about applications, and we're doing it regularly, more so now with COVID.
Well, I actually had a chance to see a demo about a week ago, and it's really impressive. So thank you, Daniel, for coming on. I really appreciate that. And keep up the good work, and I'm sure we're going to see you around. That's no doubt.
All right. Thanks very much, Ace. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Take care.